Hey, and welcome back. So today we are going to be talking about binge eating and recovering quickly. I really believe that everybody that is overweight, morbidly obese, or obese has, or even skinny people, we have all been there where we have binged, ate a crap ton of food in a really short amount of time. So I used to think back when I was morbidly obese 6.5 years ago, I thought binging was for those people that had eating disorders, and that us regular overweight people that didn't starve themselves or throw up, we didn't binge. Like binging went with an eating disorder. I'm not even going to get into that. However, what I am going to say is binging is considered consuming a large quantity or more than normal food in a short amount of time. Eating a bag of chips and a brownie, ice cream and a brownie, cheesecake, chips, and a brownie. Anyway, and so look, and binging typically, I'm sure they're out there, but I've never really met a morning binger. I'm sure they exist somewhere, but most of the time binging you're going to find most of the people that struggle with binging is going to be evening time, nighttime binging. Like if my weight loss would have been based on an 8-hour span throughout the day, I would have been golden. I probably would have lost some weight. But then you had to attach the evening to my 8-hour day span, and then I just totally screwed myself all the freaking time. And so I definitely binge ate. I definitely watched TV. I was one that would always typically be watching TV while eating. I would go to bed full, and I would always say that I wasn't going to, but I did. And whenever you are just mindlessly eating in front of a screen, any screen, whether it's a phone screen, a TV screen, a theater screen, you will always consume more calories because most of us aren't weighing out our bowl of chips and taking it in front of the TV. Most of us are taking the whole freaking bag and sitting down in front of the TV. Anyway, and then we go to bed full and all of that nonsense. But let's go ahead and talk about recovering after binge eating, okay? So first and foremost, let me just say that if you ever have binge ate, there's nothing wrong with you. You're completely normal. You're human. I used to have this really bad thing associated with binge eating. Like I was somehow, I don't know, I associated binge eating with an eating disorder. In some ways I did have an eating disorder. I was addicted to food. I secret ate, I binge ate, all of those things. But it doesn't make you look, binge eating doesn't define who you are. It's just a habit that you have. And first we form our habits and then they form us. So in order to go from where you are to where you're at, it's just getting rid of some bad habits and creating some new ones. But in no way, shape, or form, if you're a binge eater, does that define who you are. It is simply a bad habit that we have the ability to get rid of, all right? So number one, I'm going to give you 3 tips on recovering after binge eating, okay? The first thing is getting rid of the junk. As soon as you realize that you are binge eating, it's throwing away, putting down the garbage disposal, and especially, look, I know if you've never done this, some of y'all are going to be like, what? But I have clients who have I've told them this tip, throw it away, get rid of it, put it in the garbage. Like if you're in the middle of eating a package of Chips Ahoy cookies and all of a sudden you're like, crap, like I'm eating these, and they go and they throw it away, because the whole key is stopping. As soon as you realize you're doing it, stopping and throwing away the crap food. I've never really met anybody who was like, gosh, darn it, I really messed it up last night. I binge ate on a bag of carrots. Never really heard that. Man, I binged some cucumbers last night. I had 2 whole ones. Can you believe it? So getting rid of the crap you were binging on. But I've had some clients that said, Carmen, that doesn't work for me because I will go back into the garbage can and get it. So here's what I'm going to tell you. Sometimes when you're struggling with binge eating or food addiction or secret eating or sugar addiction or any emotional eating, any combination of those things, there's like this thing that inhabits our body, and we do things that in the right mind we would never normally do. When we're thinking rationally, we would never normally do. When we're thinking about our goals and how bad we don't want to be fluffy, we would never normally do. But then there's this thing that inhabits us that makes us do all these crazy weird things that we're just like, why did I do that? And so I'm a put it down the garbage disposal kind of girl. Get it wet, put it in the sink. I can remember specific instance where, we made brownies. The kids and I, when my kids were smaller, we made brownies. And after my third brownie, I was like, Carmen, what are you doing? Before I could even think about it and stop myself, I took the pan to the sink, turned the water on, scraped it in, and down the disposal it went. Now later, I was like, did you really need to do that? Yes, I absolutely freaking did need to do that. And so as soon as you realize you're binging, get rid of it. And as you do this, you will start to realize it soon. You will start to realize it before you even eat the food. Let me give you an example. So I'll give you two. There was, you ever go to the grocery store hungry? Don't ever do that. I'm sure you've heard that. Don't go to the grocery store hungry. Well, I broke that rule and I went to the grocery store hungry. And I walked out with cookies and chips and several things that I did not need, that did not align with my goals. And I had been losing weight for a while. So I had started to recognize when I was, eating, binging, and, when I recognized it, putting the food down the garbage disposal, getting rid of it. Don't put it back in your freaking cupboard. Look, I was morbidly obese for 30 some years. It will always be a morbidly obese girl in here trying to get out. I've got to keep her on a tight leash. The problem is most of us lose weight and then we don't keep ourselves on a tight leash. We give ourselves all this freedom and then we wonder why we go gain it back. Don't put the thing that tempts you in your pantry. Okay? Don't do it. It's like when people go to AA. People that are in AA, they don't tell them, hey, keep your favorite alcohols in your cupboard and just be strong, brother. Power through it. No, that would be el stupido. Like, we don't do that. But so people that are recovering from, alcohol addiction would never do that. People that are recovering from drug addiction would never do that. But here's us, overweight. Most of us have a food addiction and we're like, I can just be strong. I'm just going to torture myself. The things I don't want to eat and I shouldn't eat. Watch this. I'm going to leave them in my house anyway. So silly. Shouldn't even have it in your house. But anyway, as soon as you binge on it, get rid of it. Okay. Now, I went to the store, bought a whole bunch of junk. Because by that point, I had learned, don't keep it in my house. And as I'm walking out to the car, I'm like, Carmen, what are you doing? Like, why did you buy all this stuff? You're going to eat it all. You're not going to eat some. You're going to eat it all. That was my habit. That was my track record. And I walked right over to a mom coming out of the store with 3 kids. And I just said, hey, I just bought some crap that I do not need. It's not even opened. Do you want it? If not, it's going in the garbage can. And she was like, sure. And I said, okay. Thank you. It does not need to come home with me. Please take it. I'm sure your kids will love it. It's a bunch of sugar and a bunch of junk. And she was like, okay. And I got in my car and walked away. Yeah, did I waste $15? Absolutely I did. But I didn't go home and eat it all. So what's better, wasting $15 or shoveling all that crap into my pie hole? Wasting $15 is better. There was another time I had went through the McDonald's drive-thru and I had like a Big Mac meal with a large fry and I think a McFlurry or something like that, an Oreo McFlurry. And I'm driving home and I reach in the bag to get a French fry and I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? This does not line up with your goal. And look, I'm all about balance, but I lived a good majority of my life with no balance. I just ate what I wanted when I wanted. I had no self-restraint, okay? And I had figured out a way to plan my cheat meals so that I could keep losing weight. I'll actually link that video in the description box as well as in the comments. So I had figured out a way that I planned out my cheat meals while I was losing weight that still allowed me to go from a size 22 down to a size 2 in 13 months. Well, that McDonald's drive-thru experience was not one of the cheat meals. That was a Carmen's willpower is really low today cheat meals. That was an emotional eating bad day cheat meal, which was the cycle I was trying to break. Emotional eating will never get you to your goal. That's your emotions and the food being in control, not you. And so I went through McDonald's after a hard day, and I go to reach in the bag and get a hot freaking smelling French fry that I so was like gonna cure everything, not. And all of a sudden I was like, what are you doing? What are you freaking doing? And before I could even think, I took that entire, I'm not one to normally litter. I took that entire bag of McDonald's food and chucked it out my window. Now, if I would have been thinking, maybe I just would have thrown the food out. But in the moment, I just needed to get the food out of my car. Like, get it out of my vehicle. Like, I do not, and you know, part of me was like, I was like, oh, dang it, I shouldn't have thrown the wrappers out. But then part of me was just so proud that I got the crap out of my car. And so part of binge eating is as soon as you realize you're doing it, get rid of the stuff. Most of the time in the middle of doing it, we know we're not supposed to be doing it, but typically we chalk it up to, well, I'll just start over tomorrow. No, it's having a fast, like, no, right now, as soon as you realize it, get rid of it. And you have to do it right now, because if you give yourself any time, you will talk yourself into keep finishing it. All right, second thing when it comes to a fast recovery on binge eating is don't even bring it in your house, okay? Get rid of it. Get rid of it. If you're gonna enjoy, especially while you're losing weight, you are strengthening your willpower muscle. You are strengthening your self-control muscle. You are getting rid of working on the bad habits and replacing those with good ones. It's not to say that somebody who's just coming off of, you know, recovering from having an alcohol addiction can never be around alcohol. But in the beginning, no, like you don't hang out with people that are alcoholics that drink. You don't go into a bar. It doesn't mean, again, you never will, but in the beginning it's hard. It's new. You're overcoming all those bad habits, those emotions, all of that. So I'm not going to say that you can never have chips in your house. But when you're just starting, no, you can't. You cannot be trusted. Just like I could not be trusted. I had proven untrustworthy when it came to freaking food. And I know for some of us, it's a hard pill to swallow because we want to think that we're Superman and we can just do it all and we can resist all things. That's when you're in your right frame of mind. But think about it. If you could resist all things and stick to your plan and stick to your goals, you wouldn't be sitting here fluffy, overweight, obese, or morbidly obese. Same thing with me. I would never have had a weight problem for more than half my life. I always gave myself too much credit than I deserved. So you just got to stop bringing it in the house. You got to stop buying it. And if you're going to eat it, get single servings. Single servings. Yes, you're going to pay a premium for a single serving, but it's better to pay more and eat less than to, you know, there was a season where my husband would buy single serving sodas. And I would always say, why are you getting those? They're so much more expensive. Why don't you just get a 2 liter? And he would say, Carmen, if I get the 2 liter, I'm going to drink it all. If I get the single serving, I'm paying more, but I'm not going to drink as much. And I was like, yeah. But we've been raised in this society that we got to finish it all. We got to eat it all. No, you don't. Don't even bring it in. And if you're going to bring it in, do single servings. All right, last tip number 3 is recovering right away. When it comes to binge eating, making a fast recovery. And what do I mean by that? So often when I would mess up, when I would binge eat, when I would go indulge in all things not on my plan, I would say, you know what? I've already messed up the day. I'll restart tomorrow. Or it's Friday. I've already messed up the week. I will recommit on Monday. Or you know what? It's the middle. It's the 20th of the month. The 30th is right around the corner, so I will just finish out the month and I will restart on the 1st. It's November. January 1st is coming. I just might as well wait till January 1st to restart. No. We kick the restart button. We kick the reset button down the road. We kick the can down the road, which just gives ourselves permission to keep eating more crap. As soon as you realize you're eating according to your emotions, your feelings, or your cravings versus your goals, you press the reset button and you get right back on track. Don't wait until tomorrow. Don't wait until the next day, the next week, or the next month, or the next year. It's now. If it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, for the rest of the day, I'm going to fast. Totally done that. Eating a jar of peanut butter in the morning. I'm like, fantastic. I've consumed all my calories plus some by noon. The rest of the day, I'm going to fast. If you don't want to fast, that's okay. Eat some veggies. Although you'll be fine fasting, but eat some veggies. So it was pressing instead of what I used to do, which was chalking the whole day up to a loss and restarting the next day or the next week. No, it's recovering now, recovering quickly. As soon as you realize you're doing it, that's when you press the reset button. And that's when you get back on track. Don't stay off track and give yourself a free pass to keep eating like crap. Those are your old habits. And those habits are not going to get you to where you want to go. They're going to keep you where you're at. Because first we form our habits and then they form us. So for most of us that are overweight, we are combating bad habits that we've had for a very long time. And so just keep going. And if you follow these 3 things, again, you're not going to completely get rid of bad habits overnight, but if you keep working on it and you stay consistent, you will overcome this thing, and you will, instead of being overcome, you will win instead of it winning you. And so if you haven't, make sure to hit the subscribe button, ring-a-ling-ding, hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of our fit tips, our weight loss tips. We do upload 4 times a week here on the channel. And don't forget, while you're doing all that, to go ahead and smash the like button. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. We will see you on the next one. And I will make sure to link in the description box the video I was talking about as well. So thanks for watching.